The desert was silent, too silent. But within that silence, a storm was brewing, one that would change the balance of power in West Africa forever. In the heart of Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traoré and his military council had made a decision that would shake the Western world to its core. For months, satellite images from foreign agencies had been tracking strange movements, military convoys, long-range vehicles, and unidentified structures rising from the desert. But no one truly understood what was coming. Then, in a matter of hours, everything changed. Western media began receiving shocking reports. Drones spotted near Burkina Faso had been shot down. Air defense systems were being deployed in patterns never seen before in the region. Something massive was about to unfold, and the world wasn't ready. Traoré's message was simple yet chilling. We will no longer be dictated to by foreign powers. His government had been quietly working with engineers, military scientists, and regional allies to build something extraordinary, a new defense system, entirely free from Western control. But what came next stunned even his closest supporters. In a 48-hour window, Burkina Faso unleashed a demonstration of pure military precision. Dozens of launchers roared across the desert, filling the skies with fire and thunder. Foreign analysts couldn't believe what they were seeing. This wasn't the old Burkina Faso anymore. Something new had risen from the sand, and it carried the determination of an entire continent. As the dust settled, global leaders scrambled to understand how this was even possible. How had a country once dependent on Western aid built such powerful missile systems, without foreign loans or IMF control? Intelligence reports revealed a deeper truth. Traoré had been preparing this moment for months, in absolute secrecy. He had forged new partnerships across Africa and Asia, quietly acquiring advanced technology through unconventional routes. While the West was busy underestimating him, he was building an army ready to defend Africa's sovereignty. In the capital, crowds filled the streets, waving national flags and chanting his name. To them, Traoré was not just a president. He was a symbol of liberation. Meanwhile, international leaders expressed concern, a diplomatic word that barely hid their fear. The idea that an African nation could achieve such self-reliance terrified them. But the real surprise came from within the Sahel. Neighboring countries began showing open admiration. Leaders who once feared Western backlash started asking Traoré for advice. A quiet revolution was spreading, built on courage, dignity, and unity. Burkina Faso had proved something powerful, that a nation doesn't need permission to rise. Western analysts went into chaos. Think tanks, military advisors, and intelligence agencies rushed to make sense of the sudden shift. How did a landlocked African country manage to develop such advanced systems? Satellite footage showed long-range missile batteries lined across fortified bases. But it wasn't just the weapons, it was the coordination, the discipline, the sheer scale of the operation. France and the U.S. issued statements calling for stability in the region, while quietly deploying reconnaissance aircraft to monitor the situation. But Traoré didn't flinch. In a live address, he declared, "We are not preparing for war. We are preparing for peace, the kind of peace that only strength can protect." His words resonated far beyond Burkina Faso. From Mali to Niger, leaders echoed his message. For the first time in decades, Africa was speaking with one voice, demanding respect, demanding equality. Meanwhile, Western media struggled to control the narrative. Some called Traoré a dictator. Others labeled him the African lion. But the people didn't care about labels. They saw something they hadn't seen in generations: pride. Inside Burkina Faso, the military displayed the new missile systems, parading them through the capital as a message. The era of dependency was over. The symbolism was clear. Africa had entered a new chapter. The events of those 48 hours became legend, not because of destruction, but because of what they represented: independence. For the first time in modern history, Burkina Faso had demonstrated that true strength doesn't come from Western approval, but from national unity. The images of Traoré standing before the roaring missile launchers became a symbol across Africa, a symbol of defiance, courage, and rebirth. Even as Western powers plotted new strategies, the people of Burkina Faso were already writing their own destiny. Schools began teaching the story of the 48-hour firepower operation as a turning point in their history. And across the continent, a new wave of leadership was rising, young, fearless, and determined to rewrite Africa's story. In the end, the missiles weren't just weapons, they were a message. A message that Africa would no longer be silent. A message that power could come from unity, not dependency. A message that even the smallest nation could shake the foundations of the world, if its people stood together. The fire that began in Burkina Faso had only just started to burn, and the world was watching.